Good day. I am Lun Bing. Welcome to my general mathematics class.
Okay, we are still at week 8 of Gen Math. So we will continue our lesson. So we have the content standards and the most essential learning competencies. And our next lesson is about the domain and the range of the logarithmic functions. Okay, so let's have this. Domain is defined as a set of all positive real numbers, while its range is a set of real numbers. So, where b is greater than 1, ang domain natin is 0 to positive infinity, and the range is negative infinity to positive infinity. And for b less than 1, the domain is still 0 to positive infinity, and the range is still negative infinity to positive infinity. Kasi diba, the domain daw is a set of all positive real numbers. So it starts with 0 to positive infinity, and the range is a set of real numbers. So kahit siya negative, pwede siyang maging range. Okay? Let's have the first example. Find the domain and range of the function f of x is equal to log of 2x minus 4 with base 4. So let's have the solution. So the first thing we have to do is to set up an inequality showing an argument greater than 0. So we are going to use this portion, and we're going to set up an inequality showing an argument greater than 0. So we have 2x minus 4 greater than 0. And then we're going to solve for x. So 2x greater than 4. So x is greater than 2. So this is now the graph of the function f of x. So this is the graph of our function f of x is equal to the log of 2x minus 4 with base 4. So yung domain natin, since ang x natin is greater than 2, so ang domain natin is 2 to positive infinity. And syempre, the range is negative infinity to positive infinity. So let's have another example. So find the domain and range of the function f of x is equal to log of x minus 3 with base 2. So the first thing we have to do is to set up an inequality wherein we are going to show an argument greater than 0. So we will use this portion. So we have x minus 3 greater than 0. Then solve for x. So x is greater than 3. Therefore, our domain is 3 to positive infinity. So, domain natin is 3 to positive infinity. And then, our range is negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, let's have example 3. So, find the domain and range of the function f of x is equal to log of 3 minus 2x with base 2. So, we are going to use this portion, 3 minus 2x, and we are going to set up an inequality showing an argument greater than 0. So, we have 3 minus 2x greater than 0. Then, we are going to solve for x. So, negative 2x is greater than negative 3. So, we are going to divide both sides by negative 2, and then negative 2. And if we have encountered this case that we are going to divide by negative, we are going to flip or to reverse the inequality symbol. Okay, so since this is greater, so our answer will be x is less than 3 over 2. Okay, so ganun yung gagawin if we are going to divide the inequality by negative. We are going to flip or to reverse the inequality symbol. Therefore, our domain now is negative infinity to 3 over 2, since less than siya. And then the range is still negative infinity to positive infinity. So let us recall. Okay, it can be remembered that the logarithmic function f of x is equal to the log of x with base b is the inverse of the exponential function f of x is equal to b raised to x. And since the logarithmic function is the inverse of the exponential function, the domain of the logarithmic function is the range of the exponential function and vice versa. Okay, so if this is the exponential function, wherein the domain is negative infinity to positive infinity and the range is 0 to positive infinity. For logarithmic function, we have f of x is equal to log of x with base b. The range is positive, the domain, is 0 to positive infinity and the range is negative infinity to positive infinity. Since they are inverses, so yung domain ng exponential is the range of the logarithmic and the range of the exponential is the domain of the logarithmic function. Okay? So in general, the function f of x is equal to log of x with base b, where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1, is a continuous and a one-to-one function. Note that the logarithmic function is not defined for negative numbers or 0. The graph of the function approaches the y-axis as x tends to 0, but never touches it. The function rises from negative infinity to positive infinity as x increases if b is greater than 1 and falls from 0 to negative infinity as x increases if b is greater than 0 but less than 1. Therefore, the domain of the logarithmic function y is equal to the log of x with base b is the set of positive real numbers and the range is the set of real numbers. Okay, so you must remember this, that the domain of the logarithmic function is the set of positive real numbers and the range is the set of real numbers. So, pwedeng maging negative siya. Okay, now let's have the next topic, which is intercepts, zeros, and asymptotes of a logarithmic function. So let's have the intercepts and zeros. Okay, let's try this example 1. So find the intercept and the zeros of f of x is equal to log of 2x plus 3. Okay, you will notice that there is no base written because ang base dito is 10 and that is a common log or yung common logarithm. Okay, so to find the intercept, we let y equal to 0. So we are going to let this equal to 0, then solve for x. Okay, so ito na siya ngayon. So 0 is equal to the log of 2x plus 3 with base 10. So we are going to transform it into exponential form. So since ang base natin ay 10, so ito na si base, and then exponent is 0, so 10 raised to 0 is equal to 2x plus 3. So alam naman natin, when any number is raised to 0, it is equal to 1. So we have 1 is equal to 2x plus 3. Then simplify further. So we have 2x is equal to 1 minus 3. Then 2x is equal to negative 2. Then we divide both sides by 2. So we get x is equal to negative 1. Therefore, the x-intercept is at negative 1 and 0. And the 0 of the function is also negative 1. Example 2. So find the intercept and zeros of the function f of x is equal to log of x squared with base 2. So to find the intercept, we let y equal to 0. So we let this equal to 0, then solve for x. So we have 0 is equal to the log of x squared with base 2. Okay? So since ang base natin ay 2, so we are going to write this with 2 is raised to 0 is equal to x squared. So any number raised to 0 is 1 is equal to x squared. Therefore, x is equal to positive or negative 1. Therefore, the x-intercepts are at 1 and 0 and negative 1 and 0. And the zeros of the function are also 1 and negative 1. Okay, example 3. So, find the intercept and the zeros of the function f of x is equal to the natural log x minus 3. Okay, so ibig sabihin yan, ang ating base ay e. Okay, dahil natural log yan. So to find the x-intercept, simply we let y equal to 0, then solve for x. So 0 is equal to natural log of x minus 3. So, since nga, natural log yan, ang base natin ay e. So, e raised to 0 is equal to x minus 3. So, any number raised to 0 is 1. So, we have 1 is equal to x minus 3. Then, solve for x. So, we have 1 plus 3 is equal to x. So, x is equal to 4. Therefore, ang ating x-intercept is at 4 and 0. And the 0 of the function is also 4. Now, let's go to the asymptote and the vertical asymptote of the logarithmic function. An asymptote is a line that a curve approaches as it heads toward infinity. It is a vertical asymptote when as x approaches some constant value c, either from the left or from the right, then the curve goes towards infinity or negative infinity. In dealing with the vertical asymptote of a logarithmic function, it is a must to remember that logarithmic function is not defined for negative numbers or 0. And the domain of the logarithmic function, f of x is equal to the log of x with base b. X is a set of positive real numbers. A logarithmic function will have a vertical asymptote precisely where its argument is equal to 0, or the quantity inside the parenthesis is equal to 0. Let's have example 1. So find the vertical asymptote of the graph of f of x is equal to log of x minus 2. So in this function, minus 2 is the c. Okay? So set up the argument x equal to 0, then solve for x, and that is x is equal to 0. So we are not going to include minus 2 kasi siya ay c. Okay? And then, since the domain of the logarithmic function is at 0 to positive infinity, thus the graph has a vertical asymptote at x is equal to 0. Example 2. So find the vertical asymptote of the graph of the function f of x is equal to the log of 3x minus 2. Okay, so notice nyo that yung minus 2 is included na doon sa parenthesis. So set the argument 3x minus 2 equal to 0, then solve for x, and that is 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. Then we have 3x is equal to 2, then x is equal to 2/3. So since the logarithmic function is defined for x greater than 2/3, thus the graph has a vertical asymptote at x is equal to 2/3. So let's have the last example. Example 3. Find the vertical asymptote of the graph of the function f of x is equal to the log of x plus 3 plus 2. So we are going to use only this part, yung inside lang the parenthesis. So we are going to set the argument x plus 3 equal to 0, then solve for x, and that is x plus 3 equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to negative 3. Since the logarithmic function is defined for x greater than negative 3, thus the graph has a vertical asymptote at x is equal to negative 3. Okay, so that is the vertical asymptote of the function. Okay, that would be all for lesson 2 and lesson 3. Thank you for watching and God bless.